Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a quarterly mousepad roundup. You guys know the deal by now, just a lot of mousepads. I think I have 7 in the stack, so that's the maximum amount of reviews from companies like Fnatic, Wallhack, Lethal Gaming Gear. I might talk briefly about the Kurosun Samurai, but yeah, I'm just going to get right into it. First and foremost, these Fnatic mousepads, which, I don't know, they've probably been around for a little bit by now, and these are 6mm Poron foam, Chinese Poron, and it is thicker. It is a very soft-feeling base, so, I mean, that's that. The dash surface is just so boring to me. It's really like these Heian clone surfaces. I just can't do it anymore. But I did use this pad, and it's not bad by any means, but it's just a boring hybrid pad surface, and the gimmick didn't really do anything for me. As is the case with like pretty much every mouse pad, the stitching is incredible. Stitching is no longer something that can really be impressive. Like, it's just below the surface on every pad, and there is like the use case where if you are in like a Filipino jungle and you have this like very uneven desk that you made yourself when you like cut down a tree, then these will actually be flat mouse pads, whereas something like 3mm, 4mm, there might be a little bit of iffiness, and that's like me really trying to find like an edge case scenario. But honestly, the Focus 3 Max I do enjoy a lot. And if you are just looking for a control pad with a very thick base, let's say you're somebody who presses down a lot and you like that aspect of control, this is one of the more unique pads out there. I'm pretty sure this is just the same as their standard Focus 3 surface, which is just a very standard feeling control surface, kind of like a G640 if it was consistent and better is what I would liken this to the most, kind of like a Saturn Pro. But yeah, honestly, if you've ever used a control pad, you will not be caught off guard by the Focus 3 Max. In terms of initial friction, it's definitely on the higher end. There is a little bit of tug when you swap directions, and yeah, the dynamic friction is not extremely low either, and because of how thick this base is, pressing down, it just plays very controlled, really regardless of the skate combo. Another thing that I just found so stupid about these pads is that they're rolled up flat, and you might be like, wow, these are thicker than most pads Poron and they're rolled up. That sounds really unintuitive, and these are $60, so it's not even like the flat shipping is adding to the cost. It's like, I don't know. The Focus 3, if it really sounds like it's for you, you know you love thicker bases, there aren't many Poron pads like this, and it could be worth the money. But the Dash Max, like, it's like such a boring pad to me. If that's your favorite hybrid pad, you have bad taste. Truth hurts. But yeah. So yeah, more to talk about the Focus 3 Max. I realize it's one of the more innovative pads in this video. Did you guys fucking leave a like for that? But yeah, now I'm going to move on to Wallhack, aka Skypad's new cloth mousepad offerings. Very weird. I mean, it's something off about Skypad doing this, because they actually didn't innovate. They weren't the first company to do a glass pad, but they were the first company to bring it back, really popularize it, and then they just come out with some uninspired just cloth mouse pads. They have, if you guys could guess it, you fucking won't believe it, a Heian clone offering and a Zero clone offering. And similar to Fnatic, I just can't talk about the Heian clone, man. It's just fucking boring. So yeah, just a PSA, maybe you're newer to the mousepad scene, you don't understand why I just disregard all the Heian clones. Pretty much any pad coming out of China with a hybrid surface, I've tried the surface many times before, and they just don't come close to the Heian at nearly the same price. So it's just not worth my time. It's not worth your time. It's not worth manufacturing, but people fucking buy it. But yeah, the SY001 from Skypad, I said this is a Zero clone offering, but it's just a control pad. It does have this very rough and raw feeling surface. Like, most pads don't have what was previously considered a coating, but this just really feels like just an uncoated, just black square control surface. It's very hard to explain. I thought it was just going to be like a Saturn Pro clone Endgame Gear EMC, but I just really find it to have a textured feeling, especially if you're using something like dot skates. But even on these core pad larger Zowie style glides, it has a texture for a cloth pad that picks up a lot on your skates. It definitely plays. I find it to play kind of on the faster end. It doesn't seem to really be affected by humidity. And I just want to clarify, I mean the faster end of control pads. This does not play as fast as a glass pad, something crazy like that. So yeah, Skypad control pad, similar to the Focus 3 Max. It's easy to use. It's a standard feeling, but it just really, it doesn't even have a gimmick or any inspiration. It's just a fucking black square with a surface quality no better than the Zero. So it's like, what am I what am I supposed to really do with this? And yeah, for the base, they do claim it is Japanese Poron. You see it has their logo on the dotted texture, and I don't have any issues with this. And yeah, I just realized I haven't done any lighter tests, so you can see that the base definitely has some plushiness. I'll do a mouse press down test as well. I'll even do a GPX press down test, and you can see that it gets pressed into a pad a little bit. I would say this is a bit firmer than a real Artisan Soft, but it's nowhere near as firm as a mid. Like, there is some plushiness, so yeah, it's a solid pad. If you can get one really cheap, like, I would say it's not a bad buy, but again, there's just nothing really unique or new about this mouse pad compared to the rest of the market. It is a little bit rougher feeling of a texture than something like a Saturn Pro, so there is that like spectrum, and having so many of these clone products really allows you to like fine tune and get like the most perfect version of these like default OEM surfaces for your liking. Next up is the Kurosun Samurai. I'm not gonna lie, I've not used this pad enough to give a full review, but I just want to give my just my thoughts on the vibes of the pad. Not like the vibes. I've obviously used it, compared it to others. But I don't know, I haven't given it enough testing in my opinion. I just don't find it to be that great. It reminds me of the Padsmith Temple of Dreams V2 or the Crucible, whatever it's called, just like that type of texture. It's hard to describe. It feels like some type of a mix between like a felt feeling and like a waxy feeling. Yeah, this is advertised as a balanced pad, but I definitely find it to play on the very controlled end. Not like a mud pad, but it's just like, I don't know, especially in in-game situations, I don't find this to ever be playing fast regardless of the skate combos, but it's definitely could be nice if you do want a very high static friction feeling if you use a lighter mouse, and that just like helps you out. But one thing I find weird about this pad, I just discovered in Kovacs while I was playing like some vertical tracking scenario, is there is like a heavy texture. Like, I don't know if you can hear this, like the scratching. Obviously you're not going to be putting that, but when I do it on the x-axis, it's just not nearly as intense. It doesn't leave the same marks. So there is like a noticeable texture difference on the y-axis where it's like a lot more intense. And I just don't like these heavily textured, or not heavily textured, because it really doesn't feel textured much at all on the mouse skates, but it's just like these very noticeable big looking weave patterns. It's just, they don't feel good on control surfaces in my opinion. And yeah, I will use this pad a bit more. I don't know if I'll ever come back to it and give it a full review, especially because I think like Kurosun products are limited. The base in my opinion is really not anything special. I think it's like a Chinaron like Alpha Cell revised base, and it's very firm. It's nowhere near as soft as an Artisan Soft, so there's really not a lot of plushiness to be had, but I guess if you push in, you will get a little bit more control. I feel like most of the people who've been asking me about this pad just want it for the Samurai design, and if that's the case, you know, go for it. But I did not find this surface to blow my mind or anything. Okay, now one of the last pads is going to be a Lethal Gaming Gear Neptune Pro, which I realized is just on pre-order when I went to check the price. And they actually do have two versions. They have the soft and the extra soft. Here I have the soft, and this is something I like have always preached. Like, Artisan has 3 options, so even if you manage to like kind of clone Artisan, like you're 1/3 of the way there, because no companies have like multiple hardnesses. Lethal Gaming Gear does, and yeah, that was just kind of a random tangent, but that was just a little random tangent, but I just wanted to cover that, and this is the soft version. It's very fast, and it just plays, in my opinion, so much differently than the original Neptune. It's like almost just a different pad entirely. One odd like quirk about this surface is that with like Final Mouse stock skates, for example, the static friction is notably higher than it would be if I just had like core pads or Tiger Ice on. But yeah, really the best word to describe the Neptune Pro surface is quick. This is just definitely a speed pad. Honestly, there's not I'm not going to say there's not enough, like it's impossible to use, but I do prefer pads that just have a bit more stopping power. Something like the Raiden Soft is just my preferred option in game, but if you do play something tracking heavy, or if you just want to experience the Neptune Pro, I can definitely recommend it as a speed pad. And yeah, you can see I'm just not putting a lot of force in it, and there's just like a very nice, light, effortless glide. The texture itself isn't quite as smooth as something like the Raiden, the Infinity Mice Speed V2, but it's by no means like a rough, any type of of abrasive surface. And yeah, I would just say this really complements the Saturn Pro. Like, if you want a speed pad from Lethal Gaming Gear, the Neptune Pro is your option. And it would be interesting if this mouse pad had like higher stopping power properties. Maybe the Xsoft would allow for that. I could try that in the future. But yeah, really, I don't have anything bad to say about it. I do have just two minor like stitching inconsistencies, but this just could be how I stored the pad, like some shipping issue. But yeah, that's really the only thing. The stitching and the base itself are both very solid. And yeah, here is a quick lighter test. You can see this is the soft variant. I guess I can press a mouse down into the surface as well. And I would say, once again, similar to most companies that advertise soft, just not quite as plushy soft as Artisan Soft. And yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the glide test, but I just find the Raiden Soft to just have slightly more control than the Neptune Pro. So if that's what you're looking for, I mean, both of these are good options when it comes to smooth speed. And yeah, definitely the Raiden Soft is my preference slightly, but it's just like I could use either of these mouse pads at the end of the day. I find the Raiden Soft to be a bit more controlled, especially with the softer actual soft base. I do get a greater sensation of like pressing down into the pad. Are these pads the same thickness? I believe so. And yeah, I don't know how much more I have to say about the Neptune Pro. So yeah, really the Neptune Pro is quite good. It's just a bit faster than what I'm looking for. And now we have the final mouse pad of the video. This one will be a bit more brief. The Shiva mouse pad from Iris Gear, which is a company founded by Jerry XOC. If you know Jerry XOC on Twitter, he is eccentric, would that be the right word? Odd. And yeah, this is his mouse pad, and it is advertised as a control pad. I think they guarantee it's the best control pad in the world with premium materials, but I find it to be on the speedy end. It's like, take the zero texture and then just turn up the speed slider like as much as you can. So yeah, this pad did honestly exceed my expectations. I just assumed it was going to be a black square, just like one of the super low effort zero clones, but whether on purpose or not, this is honestly like a deceptively speedy pad with just that traditional cloth mouse pad texture feeling. Mine was like having issues getting 100% flat. The shipping, this is $55 free shipping within the US, like $55 all in, which for a 490 by 420 pad with good quality, like that's not terrible, but it was shipped in like a fucking like Old Navy bag. Not like actual Old Navy, but imagine you like ordered a shirt from like Old Navy Land's End, like the type of bag they would ship it in. So I don't think that's really like a premium mousepad shipping method. Mine did come creased, and then the crease is like 99% out, so it's not affecting my experience, but that just does not scream premium. So yeah, this is not a mousepad that I'm going to be recommending far and wide. I was just really interested in what Jerry XOC was able to cook up, and I would say if you are looking for something with just that like standard cloth mousepad feeling but just extremely low dynamic friction, then this actually could be an interesting pad. Other situations, if you want something like truly controlled, I would honestly stay away from this. And there is not good international availability, but I mean, hey, if you are interested, feel free to check it out. And I think that is the last mousepad for this video. What a mousepad roundup. There's not much else I have to say. Maybe I'll review some more mousepads in the near future. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed and had as much fun watching this video as I did making it. Links below. Peace out.